in the parking lot, and the woman has on an outfit that I guess the woman that engaged me thought was inappropriate. And so I was like, oh, so we're just going to talk to random strangers about their styling habits. And I was like, I don't know. I guess I said to each their own, right? And she was like, yeah, but I don't know if she should keep that. She should have kept that to herself. And I thought, why? In my mind, I'm like, why are you coming out your face so crazy at this random woman getting her bulk goods and items at Costco just like you are?
And I'll tell you why. Because our girl, Gloria Estefan, said the rhythm is going to get you, but the rhythm is a metaphor for that heat that got her crazy. That's the rhythm that got her. You got to be crazy to come out your face in heat when you need to be someplace cool. Texas is too hot. That's why I visit you during the fall. Our fall, not your fall.
Right.
Our fall, to be clear.
But I just thought, well, here it is, right? And then as another example of how insidious I think this is. So I can't remember if I shared in this space or not, but I'll say again, my daughter is very she's svelte. We're gonna call her that. She is thin. She's been underweight her entire life. She's healthy. I don't want anybody to get concerned. I'm not starving my child. She eats well, but she has an extremely high metabolism.
We know she's not starving with all those Takis she's eating right now. So Molly can do the podcast. Okay.
So
to be clear,
just so far today, she's had oatmeal and 2 scrambled eggs, two pieces of toast, and now she's working on hot Takis. Just today. So
Must
she
be nice.
eats well. I know. We can get into that in a second. She's thin. She's typically one of the smaller girls in her class, or smaller kids in her class. That's just been her life experience. But this past year, we had a little incident. We had a classmate that I would classify as a mean girl. And there were a couple bullying incidents. And one of the bullying incidents was this child telling my child that she was fat. And my child was devastated by this. And I had the most crazy kind of conversation trying to find the way to balance having her have a realistic sense of her body image, but also not wanting to then create this fat phobia or to do fat shaming, right? So I was stuck in this really awkward, probably very convoluted conversation with my 6-year-old about the fact that she wasn't fat, but even if she was, that wouldn't be a bad thing. But she's just upset and bordering on tears and not. So it was just a whole crazy, confusing moment that I was like, I have no idea what to do with this. And why is this happening with my 6-year-old already? Not a 16-year-old, but a 6-year-old. And I thought it was just very telling that the other little girl knew that calling someone fat, or specifically calling a girl fat, would be an insult, that would get the reaction of hurting someone's feelings, even if the label didn't apply. And the fact that my daughter had her feelings hurt, even though the label didn't apply. And it was the most crazy experience that I've had. And so this whole issue of body image is playing out in my life kind of on a constant basis. For me personally, I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I was one of those kids that the pediatrician put them on a diet when they were young, because I was a heavier girl than other folks. I remember vividly wearing clothes to school in middle school, where everything in life is the worst, especially girls. Middle school girls are the worst. But because I was shopping in the junior section, before, and everybody else was still in the girls section of clothes, my styles were a little bit different. So girls would be like, oh, that's cute. Where do you get that from? And having that kind of dizzying internal, I think that only women get with like, is she trying to be funny or is she really trying to compliment me? I don't know which one it is exactly. But having all this like self-consciousness about the fact that I knew my clothes were coming from a larger size or from a different department than what the other girls were wearing. So this has been going on for my entire life. And what's interesting is I've had my weight fluctuate my entire life as well. And so now I'm at a place where I'm in the approaching Tomas mid 40s. Keep all
you
your
are cleared for approach. You are cleared for landing. You have arrived.
I'm approaching slowly and cautiously my mid 40s. So that means that there's some physiological changes, right? My metabolism is just not going to do what it could have done for me 20 years ago. I'm also post baby, and I had a challenging pregnancy. I had a lot of health concerns while I was pregnant. And my lifestyle has changed, so I'm not as active as I used to be. And so I'm at a heavier size than I've ever been in my entire life. And it is a struggle for me. But the part that I really am interested in talking about is that I look back now at pictures of myself from 10 years ago, from 15 years ago, and remember feeling equally dissatisfied with my body then, even though I can see now objectively, like, you were several pounds thinner then. And so that's the piece that I really want to highlight, is that really the size doesn't matter. It's how you perceive your size and what meaning and value you attach to that is where the real where the real meaning happens. And I think that a lot of people are, I'm distracted by something coming through the door. I told you, I knew the hot Takis were not going to be the sufficient prize.
And our special guest today is Miss Hot Taki. Miss Hot Taki, Texas. Is that what we'll call her?
Oh my gosh. But if they are giving out scholarships to college, we will be Miss Hot Taki, Texas.
I know that's right. As well you should. College, that's 3-4 mortgages right there. Just to be.
I can't even think about it. I honestly can't. And so I think that's the part where a lot of women struggle. And I don't want to leave out men in this struggle either, because I know it shows up differently for men, but I also think that it is still relevant for men. Don't you think?
Oh, that was for me to jump in. I always jump in when I want to, but not when I'm cued for men. Okay, I have to speak for men. Well, you know what's really funny? You know what I'm saying, yo, we don't deal with it. No, it does show up differently for us. It doesn't show up as externally for us, I believe.
What do you mean by that?
I'll tell you. I think that women tend to be, and I don't want to play stereotypes here, but so I'm going to use words that you can go back and correct if you want to. But women in dealing with this issue tend to be a bit more catty than men. Men don't usually sit around and talk about other men and say, oh, look at what he's wearing. And, oh, you would never see me wear those jeans down these streets. Oh, his jeans too skinny. Now, some men do. And again, I'm speaking pejoratively. All right. And when we speak pejoratively, we don't include everyone in everyone's experience. So let's just be clear and put that out there before people say he believes this. No, I am speaking pejoratively. That's one. What men tend to do, myself included, is I will see someone at the gym and they will have a body shape that I like. When I was younger, I had a 28-inch waist and a 34-inch chest, which means I had that stereotypical triangle shape that men like. Wide shoulders, really sexy, just doing it. Post-cancer, okay, yeah, owning it. I'm owning my stuff. Post-cancer and chemotherapy and, unlike others, I have arrived and am currently taxiing, not my mid 40s, but taxiing my 50s. So,
we're just gonna say you're on the downhill slope of the 40s.
I don't think
That's what we'll say.
First of all, do not body shame me in my 40s. There's no downhill slope to 40. 40 is the new black, so you need to let it go.
Wait, first of all, you mixing ages and colors.
Don't worry about it. I like it. Yep, we are. Yes, we are. No, but what we as men tend to do is we tend to, okay, he has that body shape. Let me go work harder. I'm a bench press more. It's much more competitive in that regard. So we take it out on ourselves more. We protein shake. Yo, what supplements do you use? We got to get those supplements. We tend to do that.
But okay, so one, I'm going to challenge your use, and you opened the door for this. I'm going to challenge your use of the word catty, because I do think that that's a feminized term that belittles the way that women enact all of these socialization processes that you're talking about. Men do the same thing. You just don't do it in the same way. Are you being catty right now with me?
Are you being catty right now with me? Is that what's happening?
I'm being corrective is what I'm being. I'm being corrective.
Okay, wait a minute. Snap.
Snap. But that's why I use the term policing. Like, so let me unpack that a little bit more. I always talk about socialization. And what I mean by that is we all are constantly consuming messages. Some of them are explicit and some of them are implicit. Some of them are direct, like you should do this, do that. This is attractive. This is not. This is sexy. This is not. And some of them are implicit, the things that get attention and the things that don't, the things that seem to bring other folks closer to you, get you access to things and things that don't. So the subtle kind of messages, that all of that tends to circulate around a specific narrative. And we have a specific narrative in our society, in this Western U.S. context, that for women, thinner is better. So that's the narrative. And for men, muscular is better. Right? So that those things are seen as more attractive, more desirable, and worth and value more. That's the real part where things get concerning and I think problematic for us psychologically as well as sociologically. So the only way that socialization works is if all of us continue to participate in promoting those messages. So we internalize them for ourselves, and then we make sure that everybody else around us sticks to the same set of standards as we do. So that woman approaching me in the parking lot and trying to take down that other woman is an instance of her enacting that socialization around what's appropriate and what's not, in terms of body shape and how a woman should express that. Just because men don't necessarily talk about it in the same way that women do, don't mean that you ought to talk about it. Because I haven't been to a gym in a while, but there's that whole back section in the gym with all of the free weights and all of the big plates of weights.
That's the real man section. We don't let you back there.
Exactly.
We don't let you back there. Get away.
All of the grunting that happens and what you pressing and what you doing, how many reps?
Yo, son, you only doing $150, kid? Yo, you've been at it for a minute, right? I thought you would at least be 200 by now. Trust me, I understand it. I get it. I
do it too, right? And it's also, to be clear, there's all of these subcultural messages that get presented as well, right? So last week we had our QPOC panel. And so within the gay community, there may be different standards of attraction for men within those communities. We can certainly talk about how body image for Black women can show up differently than it can for white women in the mainstream because of some other kind of like phenotypic differences, but that are just inherent between whites and Blacks. So we see these subcultural differences, but the processes of getting people to conform is the same, regardless of gender and regardless of all those other different subcomponents.
And I just want to add one thing that I think is a really important caveat as to why I use the term catty. In the way that I did. One, I did use it to be provocative because I knew it would lead you into.
You love to rile up.
Oh my goodness. It's so amazing to
Like
get you
you
going.
live to rile me
It's
up.
so amazing. And it's so funny because I've had people comment to me and say, why do you say things deliberately to try to get Dr. Nikki going? Because I know you and I know you